Yeah, so I have a deal. Well, let me stop. It's
Okay.
not a deal yet. I was driving past, well, somebody was driving with me and they were like, "Oh, you're doing wholesaling. Look at this building. It's for sale by owner. It's not on Zillow, it's not on anything. They it's just for sale by owner, right?"
Okay.
So, spoke to the woman. I called it a year ago. She didn't answer. Finally, she answered. Her motivation is that she's 80 years old
Okay.
and that she's not sure that her son will be able to take it over because she's getting in her later years. So now I asked her, see, and I feel like I didn't do my DD right because I did not ask her timeline or anything like that.
Okay.
And I just automatically set up a well, I didn't really set it up. I was like, "Oh, well, can we set up a time to view it?" And she was like, "Oh, okay, let me get back to you." I'm having the same problem Rayvon is having right now
Yeah.
because I'm trying to get her to call me back, but I'm trying to call her back, and it's just crazy. But regardless, I she told me that the rents were it's a 4 unit property,
Okay.
and it is two of the apartments rent for 750, and then two rent for 650.
Okay.
So I didn't know. Shoot, I know my question. Give me 1 second. So I don't know what I'm supposed to like. I need help comping the property. Let's
Okay.
just say.
So let's do it. So you got the perfect day for this. So two of them rent for 650, and other two are 750, right?
Yeah, she's saying she wants 400 for it, and they can actually go. The apartments can go for 1,000 each. Sorry,
Okay.
cracking my body.
So she wants 400 grand for them.
Yeah.
Okay. And basically she's collecting $2,800 in rent, right?
Yep.
Okay. So were you able to comp the property? Did you look at comparables?
So I did. I looked. I couldn't really find too much. I don't know if I
Okay.
wasn't looking good enough, but
So if you
I
want to send it to me in that private chat, and I'll take a look at it with you.
okay.
I promise you, it's just between you and me.
Okay. Crud.
So, what state is this in?
Maryland.
Okay.
Um,
So remember, guys, when I go to another market, I have no idea if it's a deal because you've got to bring some of your expertise on the local market. All I can do is help you with the motivation part of this, the motivation of the seller, and then walk you through the mechanics on getting a good deal. But like verifying the value of the property, that's where you got to use some of your software tools. Remember, you can use Zillow, you can use Realtor, you can use Trulia. It's not hard. So, but like, so if I looked at this in Florida, I would go, okay, we got to either increase the rents or she's going to have to drop her price. So let me take a look here. Remove that one.
the kids are playing Roblox, so if you hear them
There
screaming
you
at the
go.
top of
That's
your
okay, man. That's what kids do.
lungs.
Okay. So, okay. So um,
And it's on a big piece. Like the land is kind of bigger. She said something about the fire department too, so I wasn't sure. She said
so
they need.
you got a lot of properties in that area. I mean, a lot of properties, but
Are those single families though?
20, I'm not used to these like older homes you guys have. So, let me look at the details on this one, see if I can, my old, so I'm just trying to see where it says so it says number of residential units 3. You're saying there's 4?
Well, she said there was four, so that's what I took. Where do you see that at?
So if you go in the prop stream without me sharing, if you hit details under property characteristics, it says 3. Okay. So what you want to do is try to go into the county records for this county and look it up, and you'll get much more specifics on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
She also has delinquent taxes for 2021, basically $1,300.
Well,
I did. This is all just tools like you use. Like it's not. Um, but you know, now I don't know this market, but based on the rents, her number's way off.
Yeah, I
Way off.
figured that. I figured
Okay.
that.
So let's do some simple mechanics here. Okay. So if it's a fourplex and you can verify it's a legitimate fourplex, they have a lot of value. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and buyers will pay for it. I'm questioning if it's a fourplex because the date it's built and now it's coming up as three.
Yeah.
So if it's 2,800, okay, and then we know the taxes is roughly $1,400, and the insurance is probably going to be another two for the year. So what I have to do is figure out what the NOI is. You know what that stands for?
Net operating income.
Correct. So I'm going to take the 2,800 and I'm going to multiply that by 10 months because I figured 2 months of downtime between occupancy.
Right.
And then if I take off $4,000 for taxes and stuff, and that's conservative, the property net's $24,000. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to figure out a price for it without doing the comp, so a fourplex should comp out correctly according to the comps. There's not much exceeding like the low twos. This is why I know the number's way off. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So 24,000. If I paid her $400,000, I would earn 6% on my money, which is pretty bad for that type of unit. So,
Okay.
um, so here's the problem: is the property only brings in $24,000 a year when net.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's before if you know anything's wrong with it.
Right.
So you sometimes you have to just break down like common sense offering to people like this. Go listen. Can you find any other way, any more money this property can make? Because it's only going to make $24,000.
Right.
Okay. So I do basic math. So a property like this should have, in my opinion, at least a 10% return. Okay.
Right.
So 10% of this would be $240,000. And that's just, you can do the basic snuff test on this. Like it just doesn't
Yeah.
work. Like I'm going to lose my butt if I buy this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would ask her, how did you come up with that 400,000 and just shut your mouth? See what she says.
Mm-hmm.
And then you already have comps on that street. You just got to find out if they're comparable to her property.
Right.
Meaning, are they just regular single family houses? Are they fourplexes? Listen, if it's a bona fide fourplex, there's usually a lot more on that street and you should be able to easily comp it out.
Okay.
But based on what you gave it to me, like she's pretty far off. So what did you say her motivating factor is?
She says she's getting older, so she's just she doesn't know if her son is gonna be. She doesn't think her son is gonna be taking over her property. She says she has other properties too.
Okay.
She also said, if I can remember, let me think. She said that she was telling me like, oh, other things could be built on the property. So she probably built something onto it, like another, like in the
Yeah.
back. I don't know. I can't really see anything, but
So
and the rents can go for like 1,000. So
yeah, you have to price the property on what it is for now.
okay,
Well, I gotta fix something. So don't worry about all that stuff because it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, I love when people go, I can put a shed on, or you can add on to this. Honestly, if it was that easy, they would have already done it. So
Mhm.
always price for what the property is. I don't care about the future and the promise. Okay.
Okay.
Unless it's on the water, that's the only way you're going to build a marine on this property. So always price for what it is and remove the potential of the property to a point. Okay. You just want to buy an income producing property and sell it. You got one or two ways to sell it. You sell it on the comps. According to the comps, the stuff I see without digging into it, like 2.25, 240 is the highest I see of any of them on that street. Okay. The other way is you take the rent. So if the rents were like 500,000, it made 50,000, then I can maybe make sense of it. But based on these rents, the most I could ever pay you is like 2.25, 240.
Yeah.
And it would have to be ready to go. So, hey, Miss Seller, how did you come up with that price? And just shut your mouth, see what they say.
Yeah.
And by the way, Just because they're old doesn't mean they're stupid. Okay. She is old. I don't really know if that's a motivating factor for her.
Yeah, but you know when they get old, it's coming down to the wire. Like they're going
No,
coming to
I
the end
know,
of their
but like
life.
it's a motivating person. I don't think would come out of the chute at that kind of price. That's a big number for that. Like unless I'm missing something.
Yeah.
So, and when she throws a number like that, I'm like, why don't you just list it with a realtor? Like I'm going to
Right.
hit her with everything and go, hey, if you want to do this, and if she's so far off base on this one, and when you look up the comps, say, listen, let's talk about any of the other properties you have that like maybe you that need some help or need some love.
Yeah.
Okay, so was that I love to buy properties that are vacant that aren't producing money because people are usually much more motivated to get rid of them.
Because she also was saying that it does rent fast. She's like, you can get tenants in it ASAP. So shouldn't I know when their lease is up? Because don't we have to evict them? Like, don't they
No,
have?
so guys, here's how it works on any property. If somebody has a lease, if you buy the property, you have to honor the lease. Okay, so here's an example. I just bought a property. Crazy as it sounds, it's got a 9-year lease in it, but they're commercial tenants and they're paying me a lot of money, and I can't change that lease unless they miss a payment or they fall behind in arrears. Okay, so most single family properties, the most they usually have it on is a 1-year lease. If you see anything more than 1 year, there should be a red flag because that can be problematic because you have to honor those terms. And if you have a very long, I've seen leases 3 and 5 years. I don't want to buy those properties because I can't get rid of that tenant,
Yeah.
and they're usually paying a very low rate, and they manipulated the owner and giving them a long-term lease, and it's not advantageous to people like you and me. Now, once they go the 1 year, usually a property after that goes month to month,
Right.
which means you can ask anyone to leave within 30 days and you can actually have them evicted for it. So always look at the lease when you buy these properties. Landlords get cute and try to help their tenants out and stick in 2 or 3 year leases, and they think they're selling it. I won't buy them with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not interested. Because I've gotten caught like really bad. So the lease, as long as it's signed by the tenant and the landlord, you just have to honor the terms on it. If you don't honor the terms, the tenant can actually take you to court and they can actually get damages if you try to violate it.
Okay. And is
So
there any?
you want to find out with that. But here's the problem is I know she's getting old and getting tired, but like her price isn't tired. 400 is not a tired
I
price.
know you're right. That's what I
It's not.
said.
It's just like I go. Listen, price alone can't be the motivating factor. Um, honestly, you put this on the market, you can put it on the market for whatever you want. Like, but the market's really smart right now. They're not going to pay people like this. So I know if she puts it on the market, it's not even going to move. And
Hmm.
honestly, I love when people like this put their house on the market and they're older and tired like this. Let them go through that crap show for 3 to 6 months, and then I go, hey, you want to talk now? Let me tell you, time fixes a lot of things.
Yeah.
I had a property that I personally had an interest in, just because I wanted it. So sometimes you just and we were starting in the 400s. Just an extra piece of property for me to carry. I wasn't even going to make money off of it, and we started on terms, and the guy wanted to do price. They tried every game in the book, and I just walked away because it just got. At the bottom line is right now, he put it on the market. So he initially started at 450 when the market was hot. We went through all this. So he went down to 425, 400, 389, 379. He just dropped the 359. And now he called me the other day. He goes, would you entertain any more offers? I'm like, no, I'll just wait another three. At this rate, I'm going to buy it at like 250.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, honestly, sometimes you guys got to let people like, you're every kid like soiling a diaper. I'm like, you just sit there. I'm coming. Like, just
Yep.
relax. Just chill. It's not going to get any dirtier. Like, deal with it. And sometimes when they get like this is part of your follow up process. Because if you think you're cruel, wait till they take it to the market. The market is really mean to people.
Yeah.
They will tell you everything wrong with the house and why you're overpriced and why you're greedy. So this guy told me I was greedy, I was a snake. And I'm just like, no, no, no. You can't switch terms to the cash price and expect the same thing. So
Mm-mm.
if you want cash, here's the cash price. If you want terms, here's the term price.
Mhm.
Pick one or I'm getting out of your hair. Here we are, almost 3, 4 months later, and he's $75,000 lower than when he started with me, and he has realtors he has to pay.
Oh, that sucks.
Should have just taken the offer. So I'm just telling you, work with her, but she might wind up in your follow up,
Hmm.
and just kind of keep it just connecting with her. And I
Yeah.
always say, you know what, Eloise, you deserve $400,000. I want you to get that. I will encourage them to list that property.
Hmm.
I go,
Yeah.
but here, do me a favor. Don't list it more than 90 days now. That way, if it doesn't work out, you can always come back to me. At least we'll get some data. The reality is when they take it to market, they'll tell you what the property could potentially sell for, and it actually helps you out.
Yeah.
So she puts it on the market for like 395 in 3 months, and she doesn't get an offer. She is going to have a wide open conversation when she's done with you on that. We
Yeah.
haven't had this type of market in so long. I'm like actually getting excited about it because it's fun. But she's old. I get it. I don't know if that's quite the motivating factor. Her
Yeah.
son can't handle it. She's smart for recognizing that. But the 400, I mean, that's like crazy.
Yeah. She's just overshooting it. And she's also saying that what does she say? Shoot, every time I think about it, it just leaves me. I don't know why that happens.
So are you doing this virtually?
No, it's actually down the street. It's like probably like 5 minutes from me. She said she got another offer. There it is. There's the thought. She got another offer, but she was like, "Oh, well, it was too low, and I wanted it at this price." But I'm just,
Yeah, I'm here to tell you she's going to need time.
yeah.
She's just going to need time. So all you do is you build an amazing relationship, have 5 minute conversations with her.
Hmm.
And the really cool thing is rolling in this time of the year in the fall, you can do like little things, just like putting a like a little decorative pumpkin from the dollar store on her doorstep during like the Halloween, just Thanksgiving. Just say, "Hey, thankful for that I have the chance to talk to you." Little like tchotchke stuff goes a long way. Obviously, all the holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, all this other stuff.
Hmm.
Do you know that most people they crave recognition over money 9 times out of 10? So they prove this in the corporate world. People will quit because they didn't get recognition from their boss as opposed to getting a raise. Now, I'm the
Hmm.
opposite. You give me a raise, I could care less what you call me. So
Okay.
you guys have to recognize with your sellers is they constantly crave like your attention and like, you know what? So like this, I say she's Eloise. Eloise, you know what? You deserve it. You've put in so much work. You should enjoy your life now. You should have zero struggles. Everything should bring a smile to your face. We just got to find something that works together for both of us. It's got to work for you and it's got to work for me.
Right. Right.
And you got to show her the price you're giving me is only working for you. If you want the market to tell you, it will tell you as well. But either way, I like you. I want to connect with you. I don't think you should have any stress in life. And once she says, I don't want any stress tomorrow, she just got to realize the right price and move on with it. But by the way, when anyone ever tells you they have another offer, 9 times out of 10, they're lying to you.
Hmm.
I do it too. Like
So,
it's just like, hey, I got another offer. Yeah, my offer is a cold iced tea next door that I'm going to drink as soon as I get off the phone with you. I didn't tell you what my offer was. And so many people are guilty. But the funny thing is, the minute you hear an offer, what do? You're like, oh my God, I got to get an offer over right away. Here's what I
yeah.
say: take it, take it.
Yeah.
I want you. Hey, Eloise, you deserve $400,000. I want to help you get it. What can we do to get you at that? You want me to call that guy? It's a great deal. And
Uh-huh.
it's like, oh my God, what the hell are you doing? Like, why are you helping me out? Guys, when they tell you have another offer, tell them to take it every time. I'm just
Hmm.
telling you, 9 times out of 10, it's a takeaway and it's a bluff. And on
Yeah.
a percentage basis, you will win. And you really throw them way off base. They're like, why would you want me to do that?
Yeah.
And they're never
So,
there. So a lot of times it's a postcard or somebody mailed them a letter. That's not an offer. That's a solicitation. So
yeah. What do I do? Okay, so say if she did accept the offer of like 200,000, right? And we
uh,
got it into contract and everything. What would my and we're doing like 10 cap, right? What would my wholesale fee be? Would I still calculate it the way that I calculated with like
you first of all, you got to find out what that house is really worth.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
So start looking at your comps and start comparing apples to apples. She says it's a fourplex. The
Hmm.
property record says it's a 3 unit. And then you got to start looking at the comps next to it
Hmm.
and see if they match up.
Okay.
Okay. I noticed the house is located in a very densely tight neighborhood.
Right.
So it shouldn't be hard to figure out if other houses are built like that. You can
Hmm.
look at the age of the house and the square footage. That will usually point you in the right direction. By
Hmm.
the way, this is 10 or 15 minutes. It's not 2 and 3 hours. You don't want to do this. Because
Right.
honestly, I don't really think she's even that motivated. And that's where you're
Yeah,
kind of stuck.
because of
So
the
I
price.
wouldn't spend energy with it until she gets there. And guys, you can do this at the last minute. I once comped a property 4 years ahead of time. The motivation wasn't there. Guess what happens when I went to buy it after 4 years? When I went to do the comp, I was completely blown away. It was worth triple what it was. It doesn't matter. And at the time, the numbers didn't even work for me. But because I kept on it and the motivation just grew over time, they just decided one day I can't deal with this anymore. And you're
Hmm.
the only person that's like kind of dealt with us. So what can we do, Rick? I'm like, okay, well, let me look at everything again. Odds are, if you have to wait for the property, you're going to have to comp it 3 or 4 more times. So stop
Hmm.
comping it. Just
Okay.
find out what the dang thing's worth. Find out if they're like-minded. If they're fourplex, if you're comparing a fourplex to a fourplex, great. If you're comparing a threeplex to basically single-family house, the same square footage, those are a little bit different.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
most investors value a fourplex from the rents on it. And then the
Right.
other thing is she has another unit on that third one. You got to make sure it's legal, because if it's not legal, you're going to have the same challenges when you go to sell it. So
Okay.
ask her, ask her just like this: how did you come up with that 400,000? And just be quiet.
Okay. So do I
And
ask?
that's when you have your comps printed out, and you're like, well, there's one 3 doors down. It sold for 220,000. This one sold for 190,000. Am I missing something, or can you help me out here? Do you know of a house that's under contract or just been sold? Because I might be able to give you more money, but like these numbers aren't adding up.
Yeah.
And once she hears that 3 or 4 times, she's like, okay, well, then who treated me the nicest to get this done? Don't
Hmm.
embarrass her. Remember, she's looking for convenience and she's looking for dignity. You
Okay.
can't you can't insult her. You just go like,
No.
I so I always tell, I go, how'd you come up with that number? And I just shut up and I just smile with this goofy looking smile on my face, and I just see what they say.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, my neighbor's a realtor and told me not to take anything less than 400,000 from you. I'm like, you know what? She's got a buyer. I'd go for it. And that's how I do all of them.
Okay.
Okay. You got it. You got games planned for the kids tonight.
Yeah, we're all gonna get on some Roblox and play hide and seek and eat
There you
some
go.
spaghetti.
See, Zach used to love hide and seek.
Yeah.
Oh my
Favorite
God.
game.
I used to have this. Guys, you gotta have fun. You gotta call in Sunday because I'm doing Zach's show for like an hour and a half. But Zach used to be the kid, but I took him to. He's probably listening, so um, I tell him he's got to relax because he works so much. He's the type of kid that you took to the toy store.
Hmm.
He just stare at like all the action figures. I mean, hours. You're like,
Oh,
he's just like, I go, pick a son. You got 5 minutes. Like, figure this out. He wanted to study. So it's funny because Zach came from a very analytical background, and I find it ironic that he's a full-fledged wholesaler now,
yeah.
because wholesalers, they have to make quick decisions on the fly.
Right.
And people that are very heavy analytical, they have a struggle being wholesaling. And I just kind of find it funny with like Zach doing that. See, I miss all that stuff, man. Your kids grow up so fast.
Yeah.
So like enjoy it. I know it's a pain in the butt
Oh
sometimes, but
no.
like I miss the kids running around with their heads cut off, screaming.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
like a big kid too. Their energy, you know how they say
oh
like
yeah.
you are who you surround yourself with. I'm around them all the time, so I'm like a
So,
big kid. They
so
just
take that same energy when you do with wholesaling. Just try to help her out. I don't think she's overly motivated, so don't spend a lot of time on it. And then that's somebody you just check with every 30 days after the fact. Hey, just checking up on you. And then you keep an eye on the property and then just go find another motivated seller. And if her motivation switches, you have a relationship with her and it should work out well. That's
okay.
it. It just takes time, man. Not everybody's going to swing the bat when they come up to the batter's box. Your job is to give them the right environment so they feel comfortable like swinging and working with you
Hmm.
on taking your offer.
Hmm.
And sometimes when you give people time, because remember, most wholesalers run people over and they immediately discount someone that won't sell them a property that day.
Hmm.
I
Right.
don't do that. And I get a lot of extra deals because I'm patient. And although I do want that contract, we all want it. But think about how many times you've moved or sold a property or had to move. It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
everybody has to go through it. And then honestly, when you get them to sign the contract, you'll go through the next journey. Get somebody who lived in a house 30, 40 years. You almost need therapy to get them out of there. You guys realize that, right? You have no idea. They're like the tears, the crying. They want you to do shots with them, like
God.
crazy stuff. I'm like, man, I go, man, I don't drink, but like if a shot's gonna get this deal done, I'll do it. And like you kind of get to that point. Because if you ever moved, you know how challenging it is. It's not fun.
Yeah, it sucks.
And so sometimes we have to push and coach them, and they're like, it's the hard. They said other than death, moving is the most stressful. Moving is, I think it's number two. I think dentist is number three. Although I would move dentist up to number two if it was me, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I do not like dentists. It's nothing. It's not like I don't like. I just don't like sticking tubes and crap in my mouth, especially needles. So okay,
All right.
Shaquila, let me know how it works out. I just don't think she's motivated. I think the price is way off on it, and unless she changes, just go find another deal and then just stay in her limelight because that property ever moving for 400. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank
Okay. Go have fun.
you. We'll do.
See ya. Okay. Awesome.